The X-Files is back on our tellies, and with me, a massive fan. I'm going to run through the latest episode and try and work out what is going on. I will be talking about what happened this week, guys, so please, this is a spoilers warning. Spoilers ahead. Looking at episode 2, I was confused. So confused, in fact, that I stopped watching it and went back to episode 1 and watched the end again. Then realising that this helped in no way whatsoever, I continued to watch episode 1 anyway. Let me explain. At the end of episode 1, we saw non-FBI agents, Mulder and Scully, outside Mulder's non-FBI shack. Non-agent Scully says she wants to bring down the bad guys. Then, the smoking man, you remember, CGB Spender, aka Bloody Mulder's dad, he ends this episode by saying something like, the X-Files are back open, while smoking a cigarette through his neck hole. Episode 2. Agents. Mulder and Scully investigate a dead scientist. When did they become agents? Why did they become agents? We hear them both say throughout the first episode that they aren't agents anymore. Mulder is a man who was beaten and bruised by this government machine, all of its dark conspiracies and its hidden government plans. He said himself in the first episode, it's the government that's planning this new invasion. The only good thing about it was that he had access to his precious X-Files, which Skinner himself said had been taken away. And why would the FBI let them back in without any mental or physical tests? And there's no way they would reassign them back to the X-Files once again, a part of the agency that no longer exists. And why isn't Mulder suspicious that they've somehow managed to get back into the X-Files? It's obviously the smoking man. Scully is a highly skilled medical surgeon now. She's working with children who are disfigured. A woman who didn't believe what she saw to start with, and by the end didn't know what to do with all she'd seen anyway. She went back into standard medicine, for God's sake. Isn't she supposed to be like immortal now or something with alien DNA? Use your science, woman. Agents Mulder and Scully are investigating the death of a scientist at Nugenics Technology. After hearing loud noises in his head, Dr. Sanjay goes mad, searching the computer for some information and then stabbing himself in the brain. Being told to go away by the laboratory security, Mulder steals the dead guy's phone for clues. Other than being confused over why they are agents again, this episode started well. It reminded me of the episode Drive, which was about sound waves. Remember they used to drive around in the car? I thought it was going down that route. After a strange meeting in a bar with Gupta, Mulder is told that Sanjay's kids are dying. Scully finds a clue written on Sanjay's hand that reads Founder's Mutation. The founder is the owner of the company. For some reason no one knows his real name or uses it. And that's obviously because he's a bad guy. When searching Sanjay's house, they found a file with some pictures of the disfigured children. And Mulder gets that noise in his head and hears voices the same way Sanjay did. The voice says, "Find her." We see a scene that points back to a number of past episodes. Skinner, who's their boss again inexplicably, and who we assume is the one that's re-employed them for some reason, basically tells them off in his office. Do you remember those old episodes where they used to sit in front of Skinner and he gets cross at them? Anyway, they continue to look into the case. The hospital where Scully used to work just happens to be the same hospital where this founder guy, Dr. Goldman, gives money to, and also where he finds children for his experiments. A young woman tells him that her unborn baby is abnormal, and Goldman won't let her leave. With Mulder seeing loads of blackbirds and theorising that the sounds being heard are at a frequency not normally heard by humans, and that Goldman is using unborn children and pregnant mothers as experiment subjects, we have a scene, excuse me, of the two agents talking about their young son, William. William was born back in season 8, and he might be Mulder's son. They say here in this episode that he is anyway. Basically, he might be a human hybrid, alien, he might be a superhuman with powers, he might have special blood. Aliens may or may not have made Scully pregnant. It is unclear how William was conceived. Mulder and Scully gave William up for his own protection, and this is a good scene, and it fills in those gaps that people might have forgotten about, and it also lets new fans know that these two are more than just old lovers. We finally see Dr. Goldman, and he shows us his lab and the children that are locked inside. They suffer from a range of genetic defects. Scully talks to one, and they see a young woman using obvious telekinetic powers. She gets dragged away. The young woman we saw earlier gets killed in a car crash and her baby is stolen. Mulder and Scully talk to Goldman's wife, who is mental, and she tells them that Goldman was experimenting on their daughter. We see the little girl at the bottom of a swimming pool, apparently breathing underwater. Realising her unborn son was talking to her telepathically, she cuts it out of her belly. It is presumed dead. I don't remember X-Files being this graphic. Tracking down the suspect, Kyle, using CCTV, they find him at his mother's house. Mulder is hit again with the loud sounds and sees flocking birds like before, and Scully arrests Kyle. It turns out that Kyle is Goldman's kid and is looking for his sister, the swimming pool girl, who also has telekinesis, apparently. They go back to the lab to find her and Kyle going nuts. He smashes the glass cage that she's in, bursts Goldman's head with sound wave. Scully gets knocked down, Mulder gets thrown across the room. All the stunts, I believe, are done by Duchovny himself. The kids escape and the lab is left destroyed, and like all classic X-Files episodes, it is left open. Other than the inexplicable return to the FBI and the dodgy dream sequence, I felt this episode was good return to the X-Files that I loved. With nods to the classic show here and there, I was left wanting to watch the original series from its start. But I didn't, because that would be mental. There's 206 episodes. I'm enjoying the comeback of this series and can't wait for the next episode. Thanks for watching this video. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe to this channel. And you can find me on Twitter at Strider Games, and on Facebook, which is /Strider Games. See you next time.